everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Palm City Chucks PCC. We got another good one on the docket here for you. Um, Much like last episode, started at the end of the NFL season, our playoff predictions there. I say we do the same with college. So I'm going to get right into it. New playoff format for college, 12 teams. No reseeding throughout. Let's see what we got here. So for me, I have the 12 seed being Boise State. As we know, basically the way college is doing it this year, we have conference winners seeded, and they get a bye week. However, one of a non-Power 5 conference team will make it in. And if they are outside the top 12 in ranking, they will be automatically granted the 12 seed. And I have that here with Boise State. They're my 12 seed. 11 seed, I have Clemson. 10 seed, I have NC State. 9 seed, I have Ole Miss. 8 seed, I have LSU. 7 seed, I have Oregon. 6 seed, I have Alabama. 5 seed, Notre Dame. 4 seed, with the bye week, I have Utah. 3 seed, I have Miami. And 2 seed, I have Ohio State. And the 1 seed, I have Georgia. But yeah, that's how we're looking at the start. What do you got there, Chuck?
Well, one thing I noticed during that was you're pretty high on LSU there. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't even have them making the playoff. So
yeah, that's after fun. Last week, I don't blame you, my friend. But I made this before the season started. It may bite me.
So did I. I wrote this down before I even saw them play. But here we go. Here's what I got. I got Memphis at the 12. Same with your situation with Boise State. I think that Memphis is going to win the AAC, so I think they'll get the 12 seed as a non-Power 5 winner. 11, NC State. 10, Notre Dame. 9, Ole Miss. 8, my boyos, Penn State. They're making this playoff. Finally, needed to expand to 12 to make it happen because we can't beat Michigan and Ohio State, but it's fine. 7, Alabama. 6, Texas. 5, Ohio State. 4, Utah. 3, Clemson. 2, Oregon. And the 1 seed, Georgia.
Yeah, can't go away from Georgia until they mess up, right? Kind of a Chiefs situation there in college.
Yeah, they're such a good team. They're such a good team.
Oh, my gosh.
So how do you see that breaking out?
So let's start with our 12 seed. Got them going up against a 5 seed. So I got Boise State versus Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame taking that one. 11 versus 6, Clemson versus Alabama. And I have Bama taking that. Next we got 10 seed NC State going up against 7 seed Oregon. I have Oregon taking that. And we got Ole Miss, LSU, 9 versus 8. And I have LSU taking that. We will see, folks. We will see. But yeah, moving into the next round there. Yeah, I think I already am, honestly. That was woo. But yeah, so moving on, we got 8 seed LSU going against number 1 Georgia. I am delusional. I'm not that delusional. Georgia's taking that. Then I got 4 seed Utah with the bye going up against Notre Dame, and I have Utah winning that. Then we got 7 seed Oregon against 2 seed Ohio State, and I have Oregon taking that one. Then we got Miami at the 3 seed taking on Alabama at the 6 seed, and I have Alabama taking that. So, just like that, we are getting down to the end already. So I got Georgia versus Utah, 1 versus a 4, and I have Georgia taking that. I have Oregon at the 7 seed taking on a 6 seed in Alabama, and I have Oregon taking that. So Oregon not winning the Big Ten, but making a hefty push here, and they're in the final against Georgia. And I have Georgia winning because that's what they do. They're dogs.
Yeah, quite literally, huh?
Yes.
I like your championship game prediction. Before I walk through, that's the exact same final that I have. Actually, I have Georgia Oregon.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
yeah,
how'd we get
I know,
there?
right?
I'm sure that's
great
different.
minds think alike.
Yes.
Yeah, that is different. So kicking off, we got 12 Memphis against 5 Ohio State. Got Ohio State taking that one. 9 Ole Miss against 8 Penn State. I think Penn State will win that game. NC State against Texas, the 11 and the 6. I think Texas will win that. I do think Texas is quite a good team. I'm quite a big fan of Quinn Ewers as well, honestly.
Yeah, he's a baller.
And if he ever goes down, they've got Archie Manning waiting to step in and take his place. So I don't see much of a drop-off there.
I never wish injury on anyone, but I want to see that kid play. I'm sorry.
I know. Respect to him for staying at Texas, honestly, because
I know.
I bet
I was
he had
shocked
a lot
by
of
that.
offers to go and start elsewhere. He had to.
Definitely.
So respect to
major
him.
respect
That's
there.
some true loyalty. Yeah.
Right.
Then rounding out the first round, I've got 10 Notre Dame against 7 Bama, and I've got Notre Dame taking that game.
Okay.
I just see a drop-off from Alabama in their first year without Saban, so...
Yeah. I expect that, too. That's why I have the Oregon upset, but yeah.
Yep. So, next round, Ohio State, Utah. I've got Utah upsetting Ohio State there. That might be a little bit of a biased pick. I'll be the first to admit that. I hate Ohio State. So really hoping that one comes true. I can't. It'll be the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So up next, we've got PSU, Georgia. Unfortunate matchup there for Penn State.
Right.
As you said, I'm delusional, not overly delusional, and Georgia's going to win that game. So
Definitely.
Yeah. Texas, Clemson. I got Texas winning that game. And then Notre Dame, Oregon. I've got Oregon winning that game. So that goes on to the semifinals with our matchups being Utah, Georgia, and Texas, Oregon. And I think Georgia is going to beat Utah, and I think Oregon will overcome Texas, giving us the same championship game that you presented, Georgia, Oregon. But I do have a different winner. I think Oregon will take the national championship this year over Georgia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, 3 out of the 4 there are the same, too. We both have Utah making that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a weird one, too. That like a weird one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a weird one to have in common.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Utes running through
All right, so now that we've kind of... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just making a joke there. We got Utes coursing through our veins.
Come on. We were, born and bred, obviously.
Right.
So now we've kind of talked through how we see it playing out. I want to recap the games that have already happened. And if you don't mind, this might hurt your soul a little bit. I'd like you to kick us off by please talk about LSU USC a little bit. What are your thoughts there? How'd you like how that game turned out, buddy?
Well, in a word, just disappointment comes to mind. This is now the 3rd year in a row we have lost week 1 to a non-SEC school. You know how I feel about the SEC. I mean, they are the best, for sure. So to go up against other conferences, and we're not talking going up against Ohio State or like Clemson at times, Notre Dame at times, like other juggernauts, to drop 2 straight years to Florida State in that game 1, and then now to drop this one, it's just brutal, man. The talent is clearly there with this LSU team. I think they have a good squad. I'm not mad. I still have them in the playoffs. I could still see it happening, but they got to right the ship. And I think it starts with the coaching with Brian Kelly. I've questioned his calls numerous times over the last few years, and these are big calls that change the game entirely. Not settling for field goals when you should, and just being over-aggressive at times early on where it's like, hey, just establish yourself, get the lead, and just kind of get it in the motion rather than just going for the throat right off rip. You're an SEC school. You can dominate these other schools. Just get the lead and keep the lead. But yeah, just failed to do so in these opening games. I don't know why he's not getting these guys ready to play. Like I said, I feel like the talent's there. They're just not getting it done, and it's upsetting for sure. But I think we bounce back. I think we'll still have a good season. But yeah, not really sure what to expect after that. I mean, that's got me hiding my tail in between my legs a little bit.
So would you say that loss is on Brian Kelly?
Sure. He's got broad shoulders. Throw it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you watched the game yourself, and I'm sure the viewers did as well. Yeah, the team has talent. They have enough to win. It's classic LSU. Like they got stud receivers. They're getting decent quarterback play, and yeah, I mean they got a mix of runners, and the offense is there for sure. I don't know why LSU has struggled with the D line lately. I feel like that was always, another strong suit of theirs. But yeah, I feel like that is something to worry about a little bit. These other schools bullying you up front. I feel like that's not what I'm used to as an LSU fan. But yeah, overall, I think the team's solid. They just gotta click, get it together and get on a roll. But I'd like it to start before the season starts next year. Let's not start with this freaking loss.
Don't get your hopes up, man. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, the bar's low now. I mean, it's tradition
Yeah.
at this point. We're gonna lose week 1.
Yeah, I mean, for me watching that game, the conclusion I came to was it's two good teams.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think either of them looked bad by any means, but I don't think it's gonna. Either one of them is a great team that's gonna actually do anything come the end of the season. I was most impressed by USC's defense. I will be the first to admit I was talking so much crap about their defense before the season kicked off. I didn't expect them to stop anybody. And they came out there and held LSU to, was it 20, 23 points? I can't quite remember. Something like that.
That sounds right. I'm trying to wipe it from my memory, so.
Yeah. I just want to remind you, bring you a little more pain.
Yeah. It hurts.
But LSU, like their quarterback, Nussmeier, he played pretty well, I thought. USC, Miller Moss just played a little bit better. And speaking of the quarterback talk there, Brian Kelly, what are you doing with those post-game comments, man? You cannot throw your quarterback under the bus like that when he actually played a good game. Like that was absurd.
I agree. I'm losing patience in him real quick, and I wasn't happy the moment he became the coach, honestly. I wasn't thrilled with that, but I'm also a guy who doesn't like Notre Dame, so that didn't do him any favors. But then, faking the whole Southern accent when he came over, like doing all kinds of weirdo stuff. But hey, I want to win football games. I guess. I mean, I can't say I would have done the same, but yeah, I want to win games. If he's gonna, I think he does a good job recruiting. This being his third season, this is his recruitment class, basically the team we're watching. Mm-hmm. So this is a real test for him, and basically how I feel about him. We'll see.
Yeah.
But let's move on. I want to know your thoughts on Florida State, because what a rough start they have had.
Florida State dropping those first two games is not good. That's good.
That's season ending, is it not? Like, this is a team that
there's no way they make the playoff now. You cannot lose to Georgia Tech and Boston College.
Yep, and this is a team
and expect to make the playoff.
That was 100% their goal going into the year, right? It had to be after last year, especially.
Had to be. They just missed out last year.
Should have got in. I will give them that.
I agree. They should have got in. Yeah. I don't think you can take injury into account when you're putting the playoffs together. The fact that the quarterback got hurt should not have kept them out of the playoff.
Right.
So, especially with the expanded playoff this year, we're up to 12 teams now. We're 2 games in for them, and they're already ruled out of the playoffs. Essentially,
they need a miracle. They almost got to win out at this point.
I mean, they definitely cannot take 3 losses, in my opinion, and get in the playoffs.
Right.
Their only chance
Yeah,
is
I
to
agree.
win out, and I still think they'd be hard
Yeah,
pressed
because
to
they're gonna
find a
have
spot.
right, because they're gonna have losses against teams they really shouldn't
Hmm.
have lost to, and strength of schedule, as we know, plays a major
That
factor in
matters.
the
Yeah.
seeding. Yeah,
And the Boston College game, like Georgia Tech game was close, but the Boston College game was they looked completely outmatched.
yeah, they rolled
Completely
over for
outmatched. Like,
sure.
so I don't know what to look forward to. I mean, the thing why go out and get DJ Ugalele to come in and be your quarterback there at Clemson?
I
His
yeah,
first two games he played for them were great when Trevor Lawrence was out with COVID. DJ stepped in and he had 2 great games.
yeah,
Then
future
when
was
he
bright.
finally actually starts for Clemson after Trevor leaves, terrible.
Yeah,
Okay,
and he
so
was.
leaves.
I couldn't.
Goes.
I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it was him playing quarterback for them. Honestly,
yeah.
like that
I mean,
first game
yeah.
against Georgia Tech, like I did a squint, I did a double take, triple take. I was like, is this guy really playing for Florida State as a starter right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm
He's not
saying. Like,
there, and I'm sure he's a great guy and all that, but hey, we're talking about teams trying to win, and he just doesn't have it. He hurts the team more than he
he's
helps
not going to
them.
win that
And
team.
we're talking about a guy playing the quarterback position. You can't have a guy who hurts you more than he helps you play quarterback.
Exactly.
But hey,
So
I don't like
I
Florida
think
State,
Florida
so
State's,
they can keep him going
yeah.
there. Just let him start.
No, I think
Let's see what
Florida
happens.
State's season is done. One weekend because their first game was technically week 0. So one weekend, I
Right.
think their season is over.
Oh yeah, rough
Unless
start.
miracles happen. So moving on from that, let's talk about Penn State a little bit. I was pretty happy with what I saw there. I think the biggest question mark coming in for Penn State this year was how is Drew Allar going to look? Was he actually going to look like that 5-star recruit that we all thought he was going to be? Or was he going to look more like the player he was last year where we were left questioning if he was the guy again? And I think he answered a lot of those questions in this first game against West Virginia. He looked really excellent. Some great throws. He conducted the offense well, and I'm really looking forward to what he's going to bring because I was quite pleased with that game. And also, Katron Allen is a beast. I just want to also throw his name out there. Katron Allen is a beast. So, and defense, as per usual, Penn State's defense always great, and they played another fantastic game. So
Yeah,
I'm
I was
excited for their
impressed.
season this year.
I was impressed how they responded to that delay too, because that was pretty gnarly.
I know.
And
It was like
to
2-3
stay
hour
in
delay.
that intense game mode that long that's impressive, especially for a bunch of kids. But yeah, they look good. I think you're gonna have a fun season, but hopefully it doesn't end with any classic Penn State heartbreak. But
All that
we
I
will
want.
see.
All that I want, because we don't get to play Michigan this year, which, honestly, this would have been a year I wanted to play Michigan.
Right? Yeah,
But
down year.
honestly,
I think anyway. But yeah,
no, I agree. I agree with you there. But we do play Ohio State, and all that I want is for us to win that game.
how long
Honestly,
has it been? Like I don't know if you know. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
I
it's
think
been a
the
minute
last
for
win.
sure.
I think the last win was the blocked field goal. I think that was our last win. Returned for a touchdown at the end of the game.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that was the last win. We had more opportunities, like the 4th and 5 call where James Franklin,
Yeah,
that
don't
dude.
talk about
Also, I just
coaches,
wanna,
dude. My
yes,
gosh.
soapbox, James Franklin, please get out of Happy Valley, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking at something the other, he's 3-22 versus top 10 teams in his tenure
Yeah,
at Penn State,
you can't
which
have
is
that
by far
at a
the
major
worst
program like
out
Penn
of
State.
all coaches in college. It is by far the worst. Like, you can't be doing that. Penn State expects better things.
Right, and that's
So-
such a large sample size too. Really, just inexcusable
It is.
to come up with a record like that in major games.
It's absurd. It's absurd. And
It is.
especially the 2 games that matter all the time, Michigan, Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
there's an inability to ever beat them is
Right.
it hurts. It
Yeah.
hurts. So
You'd almost
for
rather
me,
drop
personally-
one to a Big Ten school you shouldn't, and then get that one. But
Well,
unfortunately, yeah, you
I don't know
just
about
can't get
that
over
because
that
that Illinois 9 overtime loss, I think 2 years back, maybe last year, that one really hurt my soul.
Yeah.
Because they were a terrible team. But anyways,
suck.
to wrap up the Penn State talk from my end, if James Franklin, first off, making the playoff for Penn State this year is the minimum. If they do not make the playoff this year, he needs to go. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Brass tacks, he needs to go if they don't get into the pub. I don't care how big his buyout is. Pay it, find somebody new.
Right.
Because he's clearly not the guy to win big games. So.
Hey, I respect it, and I agree with it.
Yeah. So let's move on to Clemson, Georgia.
That was good.
What are your thoughts on that game?
I mean, I thought Georgia got off to a slow start there. And, I mean, the first quarter, I think it ended 0-0. Both teams were a little shaky. It had me questioning, because, like I said, I had all my playoff predictions in before college started. So I was a little hesitant with picking Georgia because I don't think Clemson is back. Like, I don't think that Clemson team we were used to, I don't know, friggin' 4 years ago at this point. I don't think that team is there. And Georgia was struggling at first, but then they just, like, all of a sudden it was like a flick of the switch where Georgia, like, let's put these guys away. And they did because they smoked them. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm happy with my pick in Georgia winning it all after seeing that. Because, I mean, I believe we both had Clemson making the playoff. I know I did.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you did. So to beat another playoff team in that magnitude, like, hey, this team's legit. I was always one who fought the whole debate on if a college team could ever beat a pro team. Like, I always felt like it was impossible, and it very well could be, but a few of these Georgia teams literally have me reconsidering that because they are just studly. But, yeah, to take care of another playoff-level team in the way they did, I mean, they're just going to be fine. Even in their SEC matchups, for the most part, they're going to be fine. We're talking another Georgia team that's likely not going to lose a regular season game again. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, I just want to jump in and say I think you're crazy for thinking a college team could ever beat an
I know, that's what I'm saying. It is crazy.
Even these Georgia teams, dude.
I know.
What are you talking about? You see some of these studs come out of college and absolutely fumble until they adjust to the
specifically
NFL,
Georgia players, honestly. Because Eagles are kind of dealing with that right now. I think I talked about it last episode with Jordan Davis, and I didn't touch on Nakobe Dean, but yeah. No, you're right. I think it's insane. I still do. But I'm just trying to, just say, hey, this Georgia team is crazy good, is really what I'm getting at.
I think the only one that you could say that
crazy.
about, the only one you could say that about was the one I think from 2 or 3 years ago where literally their entire defense got drafted. I think that's the only one that could have maybe given the worst team in the NFL a run for their money.
Right.
But I still think.
But even so, we're talking if they play 10 times, Georgia wins one of them. Yeah. No, I agree entirely. Yep. I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to just say, hey, this Georgia team's legit.
And really quickly, before we move on to talking about some of next week's game, I just want to give a shout out to Arizona wide receiver Tatoria McMillan. Dude is a baller. Are you kidding me? Man had 3 touchdowns, like I think it was 225-ish yards in the first half. They were totally controlling that game against New Mexico, or he could have definitely doubled those numbers the way he was moving. He ended the game with over 304 touchdowns. This is a guy I have my eye on for the rest of the college season, and somebody I'm curious to see where he lands in the draft because I think he is an absolute baller. Absolute baller.
Yeah, I mean, with that stat line, he definitely is. They clearly didn't have a guy to match up against him. But yeah, I don't know if any team will with stats like that. My gosh, it's probably going to go off every week.
Yeah, I mean, he could take a week off and still be leading the NCAA in receiving yards next week, honestly. Yeah,
he probably can. That's just unheard of.
Yep.
Ugh.
So let's move on and talk about the top 25 games that are coming up in this week. We got 2 of them. Michigan v. Texas, the 10 v. 3, and Tennessee versus NC State. Who you got in those games?
So I'm gonna go Texas, kind of like against Michigan, kind of like what we were just saying. We think probably a down year for Michigan there, losing Harbaugh and a bunch of players to the draft. And Texas is SEC now. They were kind of legit last year anyway, but SEC always opens doors to recruitment, transfers, all that good stuff. Yeah, I like Texas there. And then as far as Tennessee, NC State, that should be a good game, honestly. But again, gotta lean towards SEC there, so I'll take Tennessee. But I do have NC State in my playoff, as we went over. I think they're going to have a really good season. I know they have a lot of talent returning this year. Yeah, so I think that'll be a good game. Could see that go either way, but I'm going to go with the Vols. How about you? What do you got?
I got exactly the same. I got Texas over
Okay.
Michigan. I think Texas is just going to be too good for Michigan. I agree. A little bit of a down year. Wouldn't surprise me to see Michigan finish somewhere in the 20s in the top 25 rankings at the end of the year, if not possibly even falling out, especially with how competitive the Big Ten has become. Bringing in UCLA, USC, Oregon,
Yeah, Washington.
there's some tough teams in there now. Yeah, Washington, exactly. Yeah. Yep, that's the one I was forgetting. So it wouldn't surprise me if they don't even finish in the top 25 come end of the year. So I got Texas winning that one. And then Tennessee over NC State, mostly because, again, SEC school. And also, I didn't think NC State looked completely great last week. So I think they'll put it together because I do also have them making my playoff. But I think for this week, I think
who did they have last week?
Gonna beat them. That is a great question. I don't remember right now, actually.
Yeah,
We'll recap.
I can't say I've watched, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's kick on. That was a great discussion about college.
Yeah.
Let's kick off to the NFL. It is week 1 this week, baby. Week 1, and I am
Let's
so
go.
excited. Excited. Let's start. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game tonight. Ravens-Chiefs. How do you think that's going to play out? What are the players you're watching? What do you got?
Yeah. So I think it should be a great game. Two great teams, without a doubt. Hoping for kind of what we saw last year with the Chiefs, and the Lions snuck up on them and got them. I'm hoping the Ravens do the same. I think they will do the same. I'm wondering what kind of game we're going to get, though. Because first game of the year, a lot of times you get slow starts, kind of not high scoring, 17-14 finish, something like that. And then other times you have these teams that just click, and maybe it's the defense not clicking, and you have a shootout. And either way, I am here for it. I think both teams are great, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. But, yeah, I have the Ravens winning that. But, yeah, what do you have there?
So I'm gonna save my predictions for a little bit later. I'm gonna keep you guessing a little bit.
Yeah,
all right? If you don't mind.
That's cool.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I like that mystery.
Please. Yeah. But overall, how I think the game's gonna go, I agree. I think it might be a low scoring game. That's kind of what I see happening there. Patrick Mahomes got a lot of new. He's got Xavier Worthy to work into the offense, and he's probably going to have a big role. So who knows if they're going to be clicking right off the bat. Over on the Ravens side, you got the King taking over the backfield. How's that going to go first game around, right? Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
He's fresh.
He'll probably score so many. He's going to score so many touchdowns this year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just going to move the ball so well as the year progresses. But I think in this first game, there might be a bit of a learning curve, some hiccups. But I expect overall a really competitive game. I wouldn't be surprised to see 4 or 5 turnovers, though, between the two teams. Little first game nervousness or whatever you want to call it. I'm not really
Spice
sure
it up.
the right word there. But, yeah, I think we might see a fairly high turnover game because the Ravens' defense is awesome. And I think the Chiefs' defense is underrated. I don't think they get enough credit for how much they back up Patty, honestly. So
good
I
at
think
making the
it's
big
gonna
play.
be a really
too.
tight game. Yeah, really tight game, back and forth, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. Now, this game, I'm excited to hear you break down. It is the first game in Brazil for the NFL. Super exciting, reaching out farther internationally, going down to South America and Brazil. Packers Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, this one is almost impossible to predict because both teams are such question marks, in my opinion. I mean, you had the Eagles collapse last year. How do they recover? What are we even doing? Like last year was that bad. It's like I don't know what to expect. As you all know, I have us coming out on top in the end. But yeah, for this first week, I don't know what to expect there. Packers are much the same. Like they had a really good end to the season last year. They're so young. They got a lot of talent on offense. But kind of same deal. It's just, I mean, it's pretty much that way league wide week one. I mean, so much can change in the matter of an off season. But yeah, what to expect there? I'm not really sure. Again, I'm hoping for offenses clicking. I wouldn't mind a shootout, especially with the Eagles' offense. I feel like if games go to shootouts, that's probably in our favor. But yeah, I could see this being a low-scoring affair. But yeah, we'll see, and I'm really excited to see. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the way this one breaks down for me is, as you mentioned, the Packers looked really good at the end of last year. They won a playoff game, and they kept much of the same. They also got better, but most of their staff is the same. A lot of their personnel is the same. So I think they're going to continue with that momentum here to kick off the year. I think it's going to carry over for them. And on the Eagles, the thing that you're so high on changing their entire outcome of the year, the coordinators. Yes. I think that's going to give you some problems in this first game. I'm not sure that players and coaches are going to be on the same page. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I even said it in last week's episode. I have the Packers winning this game. I still feel that way. Nothing changed over the week. But yeah, I agree. The Packers, it's kind of almost like, hey, business as usual. This is what we did last year. Same group, same everything. Let's just keep it going. Let's just ride that wave. But Eagles, I mean, that's not an option. And thank God it's not, because I don't want to ride that wave. Get me off of that wave. Because that wave was crashing. So
I know.
Yeah,
I wish you were still
I'm
on
all
that wave,
for
I'm
the
not gonna lie.
regroup period. What was that? Sorry.
Said I wish you were still on that wave. I'm not gonna lie.
No, we're gonna bounce back. We always do.
Eagles
baby.
crash and burn, baby.
No,
Please.
they fly. They soar. They touch the sun,
man.
Chuck.
Now we get to talk about. Let's move to the Sunday night game. My Lions against the Rammies.
Ooh. Yes, Stafford.
The Lions are going to come out.
How do you feel?
Lions are going to come out shooting, baby. I mean,
yeah.
I hate playing Matthew Stafford because
I know
it rips my heart
he's
out.
Your boyfriend.
It rips my heart out. He is my boyfriend. Him and Calvin Johnson. Yeah. We're in a little throuple.
Yeah. Hey, I see him in the back there, looking good.
Yeah. Let's go. But yeah, the Lions are going to come out gunslinging, dude. They are. Their offense is even better than last year. I think it's because they brought in new people last year, started to integrate Jameson Williams more. Like I mentioned last week, one of my breakout players. I think this is the year that he really pops. So I think him improving is going to make the offense even better. We retained our offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who is an absolute genius. So thank you for staying. And then
that's
Jahmyr
right.
Gibbs
I remember
got
talking
year.
with you like all of last year. Like somebody's going to hawk this guy. But yeah, you got him.
I was so prepared. For it, but I'm so glad we have him for one more year because losing him, I think that'll be the year we take a little bit of a step back before we get back on the forward moving train. So I'm really happy that's not this year. But Lions are going to kill it. I'm really, really excited to see how the secondary looks. Our defensive line last year was honestly really great. Aiden Hutchinson, just awesome. James Houston, pass rush specialist, fantastic. But like I talked about a little bit last week, I'm so excited to see the revamped secondary against Matthew Stafford. Not a bad quarterback. So no. I think very highly of him, as you may guess.
You can't physically say a bad thing about him.
Nah, he's just an angel in my eyes.
Yes.
So
He's a great dude.
That's what I see there. You got any thoughts on Lions Rams?
I'm excited. And podcasters probably don't know this, but the Rams are actually my second favorite team. I am Eagles far and away, and I get a lot of crap for liking some other teams. But let me just get this off my chest. It is Eagles all the way. It always will be. But I do like the Rams as well. But yeah, in this one, I don't know. I think they're outmatched a bit. The Lions, I really feel like, have one of the best teams in football, and don't know if Stafford being an ex-Lion is enough to, get the boys going. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Lions they're better, so they should take care of them. But
yeah, I mean, Stafford wasn't enough in the playoffs last year, round one. So
right, that's true. That is a good point. Yeah, this already happened.
Yeah, I also just want to say, people can't hate on you for liking multiple teams. That's just being a sports fan, man. You're very clear about your fandom to the Eagles. You're very clear about your fandom to the Eagles.
I think so.
As I am with the Lions. But there are other you can enjoy watching other teams. You don't have to hate everybody.
Plus, and especially if they have the angel Matthew Stafford. I mean, can you fault me?
I mean, I cannot fault you. So.
Right. But no, this is long before Stafford. Yeah, I've always liked the Rams as well, but it's always Bird Gang. Go Birds.
There is a part of me that wishes that was reversed. It's actually not a small part. It's like a really big part.
You wouldn't mind? I feel like you would still mind if I liked the Eagles even a little bit.
I would mind, but I wouldn't mind as much, It would make me feel a little bit better about your taste in teams.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Keep that in mind. Maybe consider it for me. To put some thought. Think when the Eagles play like crap this year. When the Eagles play like crap this year, just maybe rethink the fandom a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah.
This guy,
all right, let's wrap up our Week 1 NFL discussion talking about the Monday night game. Jets 49ers. Aaron Rodgers making his return.
All right. I'm excited to see
First
this
question,
one.
Does he make it past the first series?
Yes. I'm going to predict yes. If you bring in the second series, third series, I'm not answering. No, I hope he stays healthy. Obviously, never wish injury on a player. But I'm glad he's back because the Jets defense is really good. And that's what they needed. I mean, they have some good weapons, too, between Hall and, Wilson. But, yeah, I'm really glad he's back. And I hope they make something happen because I'm sick of the Niners. And as a partial Rams fan, get them out. Get them out. Give them L's.
I'm also sick of the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm sick of them. Get them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to see Aaron Rodgers play again. I'm excited to see the entire Jets offense run by Aaron Rodgers.
Right. This
Garrett
was the
Wilson,
plan. They
Xavier Gibson.
They worked all last offseason on this formula, and then to just have it try something else right off rip like that. It was just dirty. I mean, I'm glad I'm not a Jets fan because that would have been a tough year.
Oh, absolutely. And something they didn't plan for, and it happened 3 plays in week 1. Just had to
unbelievable.
throw Zach Wilson into the fire.
All you can do is throw your head in your hands at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You got to cry that stuff out. That's it.
Yeah, there had to be some tears there. No doubt.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt. But unfortunately, 49ers are also a great team. So it's going to be a great game. I think it'll be a great test for the Jets. I'm interested to see how Brock Purdy plays against the Jets defense because like I mentioned last week, I think they are a great unit and the reason they didn't get blown out in many games last year. So I'm curious to see how Brock Purdy does against that defense.
Hopefully like he did against the Raiders' second-team defense in preseason. I'm hoping that's how he does. But we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be a little better than that, but we'll see.
Probably. All right. So, we want to wrap up this last episode by kicking off our prediction segment. Each week in the NFL, Chris and I are going to pick the winners of each game. And
Yes, we are.
at the end of the year, we're making this a little bit of competitive, a little bit of fun.
Yes.
High stakes here.
High
At the
stakes.
end of the year, when the results are final, the loser will have to purchase a ticket to the other's favorite NFL team game and send the other to that game. So, if I lose, I will be purchasing an Eagles ticket for Chris at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia against a team of his choice.
Yes.
If Chris
It's
loses,
going to be a playoff game, buddy. You better start saving. I'm kidding. No playoffs. We can't afford that shit. Only rule. No playoffs.
And
But yeah,
Chris
if I
loses-
lose, I'm buying Chuckster a Lion game ticket, and unfortunately for him, he doesn't have any pick of the litter. He's gonna have to go at Green Bay. But yeah, I will be buying that ticket for him if I lose. But luckily for me, I won't have to worry about that because I will win.
Talk a big game, buddy.
Yeah.
Talk
Hey,
a
my
big
picks will back it up.
game.
My picks will back it up.
Dude,
I bet
we're
you
gonna start
don't.
week one.
We're not even going to have that many differences. I already know this.
Nah, I'm
Like,
starting
there's
week
definitely
one with a
going to
5-game
be
lead.
some, but 5-game? You think? I don't even know if there's 5 differences. That's what I'm saying. There might be, honestly.
there is.
There were some toss-ups this week. There were some tough
There were some
decisions.
toss-ups.
Totally.
All right, let's kick it off. Ravens Chiefs.
Okay. I'm going Ravens.
I also have the Ravens there. I think their
Okay.
defense will just be too good for an adjusting Patrick Mahomes offense.
Yep.
Packers Eagles. I got the Packers in that one.
Yeah, we already know I picked Packers. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad.
I'm
Yeah,
proud.
I got
I'm
the
proud. I need
Packers.
you to
It's
know.
just Eagles have a lot of new stuff going on. I don't expect a well-oiled machine off rip, but we will get there.
All right, up next, we got the Steelers and Falcons.
Okay. You see, and this was one that I really struggled to come to a conclusion on. And I ended up leaning Steelers. But yeah, I got to ride with it. I just think the defense, it's going to be classic Steeler defense. It's going to keep them in the game. And I don't know. I think the Falcons will be good this year, but again, a lot of newness going on there. New for the Steelers, too. Like, both got new starting quarterbacks, so we'll see how they adjust. But I don't know. I'm just not... I don't think the Steelers are going to be great, like I said last episode, but I also feel like I'm not falling for their trick. Like, this preseason, just every starting ones group in the preseason games just couldn't do anything. I'm not going to fall for that. I think they win. It's probably going to be an ugly, low-scoring game, but I'm going Steelers.
I got the Falcons.
Okay, cool.
I just do not think the Steelers' offense is going to do anything. I have no faith in that offense at all. At all.
Don't fall for it,
So,
Chuck. They're good for 10
Don't
points a
fall
game.
for it.
That's all they need.
I don't know.
A high-powered
against
10-point
Falcons yeah. better watch out.
Yeah.
All right, up next, we got the Cardinals and the Bills.
Okay, I'm going Bills. They lost a lot this offseason, and Cardinals, we both agreed last week, they're a team that we think might surprise people. Not going to be a great team, but going to be competitive. But yeah, I got to go Bills. It's too early in the season for that Cardinal hype train. I'm going Bills.
I also got the Bills. They're a better team right now.
Yeah.
So, plain and simple.
Right.
Up next, Titans and Bears. This one was really difficult for me. This one I found
this was one
really
of my
difficult.
Yep. This was one of my
But
tougher ones as well.
Did you know that first quarterbacks have not won their first game since or maybe there was one, at most one, but I don't think it was any, since 2004. First game in the NFL. Yeah.
Wow.
At the
You're
best,
talking
I'm pretty sure
starting
the best
the
was a
game
draw.
too, like not
Yes,
coming
starting the
in
game.
or anything.
Starting the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Since 2004,
Well,
I think there's like 15 quarterbacks, and then I think the best was a draw. And that led me to
no,
siding
you
with
are
the Titans
forgetting
there.
one. You're forgetting one. Caleb Williams this
Okay.
week. Go Bears.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. You had me racking my brain, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I saw the wheels turning.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, hey, we got two different. Keeping count.
Cool.
We're getting to that 5 number, and I'm going to be right on all 5.
All 5. Oh, jeez. I think it's going to be close. I'm just going to come out on top, Chuck. Take it easy. Woo.
No, I'm going for the throat, baby.
Okay.
Pats Bengals.
Pats Bengals. Well, that's 2 evenly matched teams. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to get in trouble for this. Yeah, I'm going Bengals. I feel like this is obvious. Bengals definitely feel lucky, I'm sure. Get a nice little rollover preseason game before the season. Yeah, no way the Bengals lose that. I'm sorry. I'm not confident about it because I feel like it's that obvious. Bengals all the way.
No, I agree. That was the easiest pick of the week for me. Bengals took me like 10th of a second.
100%. I only read
Over and done.
Patriots, and then I just picked the other team. And it happened to be the Bengals.
I feel like that's going to happen most weeks this year. Patriots are just terrible. Up next, Texans Colts.
Okay. This was another tough one for me. As we know, I have the Texans finishing with the 1 seed in the AFC. So I feel like this is a game they got to win. I ended up picking them, but this is the Colts' home game against them this year. I really feel like they're going to make it tough on them. I think, like I said, the Texans will come out on top, but this is not going to be an easy game, I don't think.
No,
Yeah,
I
this one I was
completely
stewing on for quite a bit. But yeah, went Texans.
No, yeah, this one was definitely a difficult one to pick for me. Even though I have the Colts finishing 3rd in the division, I think they're going to be a pretty competitive team, especially as you said, the home game
these division
against the
matchups.
Texans. Yeah,
Yeah,
like had the home game, and so it was really tough. But I did end up going with the Texans. I just think they are the better team in my opinion.
Yep.
But I think
But the better
even
team
being on
doesn't
the road-
always win.
Yeah,
That's what makes this
you're
tough.
correct. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, Jags Dolphins.
Jags Dolphins. This honestly was another tough one. But I went with the Dolphins mostly because they were home. But yeah, I think both teams are going to be solid. I think the Dolphins are the better team, and they're at home. So I talked myself off getting too crazy there and picking the Jags. So I went Dolphins, but I think that'll be another good game.
Cool. Yeah, I also sided with the Dolphins. Think they're a slightly better team, and they are at home, so I think that gives them the boost they need to win Week 1 here. Nice. Moving on, next game, Panthers Saints.
Okay, another division matchup there. Those can get crazy, but I do have the Saints coming out on top. I think they're better, and I think this early on in the season. They will come out on top against the Panthers. But, yeah, that's another one. Division gets weird. Panthers, I think they are improved from last year, but I got to roll with the Saints.
Yeah, I also had the Saints. Like, I pretty much agree with exactly what you said. I think Panthers are improved, but I think it's going to be a pretty similar situation with the Pats, where most of the time I'm going to see the Panthers as the team playing in the game, and I'm going to go with the other team.
Right. And the Saints at home too, so that always helps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Up next, we got Vikings Giants.
Okay. Now, was this one easy for you? Because this was another one that I really struggled with.
I actually did struggle with this one as well. I went back and forth quite a few times.
Oh, yeah. This one, arguably the most, and let's be honest, it's probably the crappiest matchup, but they're so crappy that it's evenly matched.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can be the toughest game to pick. A lot of times it is. But I ended up signing with the Giants, home field. I think their D line is really good. I think that's one of the only things they have going for them, but it's really good. And I think the Vikings O line is not really good. And again, another new quarterback situation there. I just feel like it's, especially till Hawkinson gets back, it's just going to be Jettas, and they're going to do everything they can to get it to him. And I feel like it's going to bite them. They're going to get sacked. They're going to throw picks. But yeah, I just have Giants coming out on top. But two teams I don't think are going to make a lot of noise this year. But yeah, I just think the Giants are a little better and at home. So I went that way.
I did go with the Vikings in this one.
You did?
I just
Awesome.
don't have a lot of faith in the Giants at all. I agree the Vikings are going to face some struggles out of the gate, but I think the Giants are going to continue to face the same struggles they have had since Daniel Jones took over as their quarterback.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they came up with many solutions. So
Hey, but they drafted Malik Neighbors, guys.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
somebody's
he's gonna
gotta get him
throw
the
it
ball,
to
though.
himself.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
exactly.
Right.
All right, let's keep moving here. Raiders, Chargers. This one kind of tied up with how I saw the division playing out. I went with the Chargers in this one. I just think at home, slightly better team. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to give them a boost. I think the Chargers win this one.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of felt the same way, except if you recall, I had the Raiders finishing second in that division. So I have the Raiders coming out on top. Yes, I know they are away, but I feel like it being Harbaugh's first game and a lot of newcomers there, I just feel like there might be a lack of chemistry, and they're just always scrappy, and I feel like they're always competitive for the most part. But yeah, I have the Raiders coming out on top. Could totally see that going the other way. But yeah, got to roll with the Raiders there.
That's four.
We're up to 4? Okay. I'm glad
Yeah.
you kept track.
Don't worry. I know at least one of us can count.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I never claimed to be good at counting, so.
Broncos, Seahawks.
Okay. Seahawks. It's got to be.
Yeah,
Got to
Seahawks
be.
as well.
They're at home, and they're the better team. Rookie going up against a rookie quarterback. Seahawks have a pretty solid defense. I think they're pretty legit. Going to be a tough test for Knicks. And yeah, I have Seahawks winning that. Probably 10-point win. Something pretty comfortable, I'd imagine.
I agree. 12th man, Seahawks at home are a tough team to play. So
Right, yeah.
I went with the Seahawks.
They'll beat
there.
a team that's better than them when they got to go to the Seahawks. So, yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Cowboys, Browns.
Ooh, I was waiting for this one.
I know. I need to hear you talk about this one first.
Yeah. So you already know what I'm picking.
Yeah, I
be
do.
real.
Exactly.
And, I mean, we all know, based on last week, I'm pretty high on the AFC North. And, I mean, I just think so many of the teams are legit. And the Browns' defense is just studly. I don't see Dallas's offense overcoming it. I mean, Dak is solid. I will say that, even though it hurts. CD is obviously solid. That one hurts less, but still stings a bit. They don't have a running back. They just don't. I feel like Dalvin Cook might become something for them, but I just don't believe in Zeke. I mean, I think he's a good pounder, but I don't know at this point in his career if you can ride him the whole length of a season the way they once did a few years ago. But yeah, going up against that Browns defense, and again, Browns are home. I think that plays a factor here. So I'm going Browns, but that should be a really good game.
Yeah, so I'm going to make this really quick on my pick, Cowboys, because I'm going to force you to make a choice here. You said CD hurts a little less, saying he's awesome. Preferred wide receiver 1, A.J. Brown, CD Lamb.
Oh,
right
you
now.
dick. Don't do that.
Right now.
I can't say the truth.
CD.
No, it's
CD.
it is probably CD. Age is a factor too, but AJ is still very young. He shares your name, you asshole. How could you do this to me? Yeah,
I saw an opening.
Yeah, you did. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect that this so soon. I figured it would come Cowboys Eagles matchup, but no, we'll do it week 1. But yeah, I think CD. You have to. I'm not gonna say right here, right now, because that's tough. And that I will probably say AJ because I'm a fanboy. But future, everything involved, everything factored in, I think it's CD. But I hate you for making me say that.
I love you for admitting the truth.
No, we can cut this out. We can fix this. It's not too late.
It is too late. Commanders Bucks.
I don't even want to move on.
Deal with it.
This is another one I feel like would be a really good game. And if you'll notice, there's a pattern. These close games where it's tough for me to kind of pick. I like going with the home team, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going Bucks here. Rookie going up against a rookie quarterback, a team that I think will get their stuff together and be a solid team when it's all said and done. But week 1, Bucks, I mean, it's same old, same old. They've had the same group for a while now. And, yeah, I like it. I think Bucks take it.
Yep, I also got Bucks there. I think it's going to be an adjustment for Jaden Daniels. And like I said last week, I think Baker Mayfield had a strong year last year. I think he's going to continue that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Rams-Lions. I think to nobody's surprise here, I went with the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a surprise at all. This one was a little tough for me, but again, Lions are home, so I like the Lions. They're the better team. They are at home. Rams are good. I think they're going to put up a fight, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. So, yeah, I got the Lions winning that one.
And our last game of the week, the Monday night game, Jets 49ers.
Niners.
I went with the Niners in that game. I just think they're home, as you've hit on plenty times tonight.
Numerous times.
They're the home team.
It matters.
Great team, and I think it's going to be a very competitive game, and the Jets are going to put up more of a fight than maybe many people think. But I think in the end, it's the 49ers are just going to be too good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have the Niners. Kind of think the same thing. I think the Jets will be competitive. That defense is going to keep them in pretty much every game. But with Rodgers going down as early as he did last year, this might as well be year 1. There's going to be adjustments. There's going to be things that the Niners don't have to worry about on their side. I guess you could argue they do with Ayuk holding out and Williams holding out and all of that. But, yeah, I think the Niners are going to be the Niners, and that's just going to be enough to beat the Jets. Like you said, especially since they're at home. Can't say that enough.
Yeah. So we end our Week 1 predictions with exactly 5 differences.
Wow.
So
are you going for the sweep?
I'm going for the sweep, baby. You know,
we'll see.
I want to kick your ass.
I know you do. You want a Lions ticket is what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So great. Everybody, this is the end of episode 2. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
But before we hop off, we want to hear from you. Things you want to hear from us, feedback you have. We want to know who you think's going to win the games. So
yeah, what are your game
reach out to
picks?
us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter. We've got an email as well, palmcitychucks@gmail.com. We'll be checking those, looking for your thoughts. Enjoy NFL Week 1, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week.
PCC!